Hey, good day, good afternoon, and wherever you are in the world. My name is Marcel Hyde, channel Marcel Mindset.
One, two, three, four.
I want to remind you guys, please hit that subscribe button below, hit that notification bell, because these are episodes that you don't want to miss out on. For those of you out there, if you're lacking in faith, you're lacking in hope, God is there for you. God is willing to guide you and lead you and direct you. Hello, world, and welcome to another episode of Marcel Mindset TV. Today on the show, we brought a very special guest. I met this guest when I was watching Instagram. She was interviewing a gentleman who was on her program. And when I say I saw the eyes of this gentleman and what this lady has done in this man's life, I'm like, I need to get her on this show. She's inspiring people. She's changing people's lives one day at a time. And she's talking about a very important topic that a lot of us don't want to talk about. So here on the show, I'd like to introduce Natalie Walters. How you doing, Natalie?
That was good. I love all of your energy. Thank you so much, Marcel. Thank you for having me on your show, Marcel Money Mindset TV. I like that.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I put money in there because the money, but excuse me. Marcel Mindset TV. I love it. I love your energy.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I don't worry, it is a money discussion, so it's all right. We can already tell that your mindset is on the money, and we need to be focused on that because it's something of importance to us that a lot of people neglect. So I'm very happy that we have the opportunity to have this discussion with you here today, Natalie. So remember, guys, click that like button below, subscribe to the channel, and if you find any type of value from this show, from this episode here today, please share it with someone that you think could benefit. The objective of the channel is to help people grow. Okay? So for our audience, who is Natalie Walters?
Well, good question. That's loaded. That's a loaded question. Natalie Walters. So I'm a mother. I'll start with that. I'm a significant other to a nice gentleman. I'm an extroverted introvert. If you've ever heard of that term, it's very interesting. I think as I age, I start to recognize new things about myself. Very outgoing, yet I have these introverted tendencies. I'm very social. So I like people. I enjoy helping people. Throughout my careers, I've been just in customer service. I was hairdressing, always wanting to solve a problem. And now I've moved into the role of a financial consultant and coach. Now, do you want to know what got me there? Is that part of who Natalie is?
Yeah, that's definitely a part. That's definitely a part.
Okay. So at a tender young age, I had my ways, a little rebellious and stuff. And I moved out of my parents' house nice and early. So 18 turning 19, right. I got to go because they were too strict.
Yep.
And I went on the road with my social insurance number and thought I could take on, doing the responsibilities of an adult. Fast life caught me and I ended up claiming bankruptcy at a young age.
Wow.
And when I did that, I didn't get any type of support from the company. I hid it from my family. And I just continued to live life. But with a restrictive sense, I didn't understand the bankruptcy really, so I just kind of left it.
Right.
Yeah, that's also negligence on my part, accountability, right?
Yeah.
So dealing with that for a long time, just like, bye.
Yeah.
that took a toll on my mindset,
Right.
my ability to think further. And I just literally just lived, right?
Yep.
Basic needs. But becoming a parent, and then I left and went to Edmonton because life just got a little overwhelming here in Ontario. I
Yep.
had time to reflect. So that's another thing I do. And that's why I say I'm introvert, extroverted, introverted,
Right.
because I don't mind time with self.
Yep.
So I took that time in Edmonton to revisit who I am and what I want, especially as a parent.
Right.
And that's where the reset came.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. And you know what? Yeah, you went through bankruptcy, but
Yeah.
that was a lesson that you learned that now you're helping people today because of that experience you went through. So
Right.
sometimes we have to go through these experiences to make us the person who we are today.
Yeah.
And then the
The
reset.
sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, exactly. The sacrificial lamb. That's right. And the reset came when you left.
Right.
So it's all,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to go through this experience. Sometimes you don't want to, but sometimes these negative experiences or these bad experiences, these very harsh experiences are great for us, are good for us because they develop and turn us into the person who we are today.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So congratulations to you. And you're on such a phenomenal path. And like I said before, my second question to you, because I did see you on Instagram live with a gentleman whose life is being transformed. You can even just see his belief system has changed. Like he believes in himself even more based on what he's doing with you. So my question to you and for our audience to, really know what you're all about, what is the
Right.
Reset with Nat program and how can someone benefit from being on this program?
Right. Okay. So, well, as I left off where Edmonton came into place, it was that time that I needed to just shut out things. I'm a person who, when it comes to medically, nothing really bothers me. So I went to Walmart one day and, you have the place where you can check your blood pressure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and my blood pressure was sky high.
Wow.
And that's because I was so overwhelmed. I finished college. I never went to college. I was expelled from school. So now I get to this place where I'm a mother to a young child.
Right.
And you finish school, you're looking for work. I'm going to the employment agencies, I'm doing my thing, but nothing's catching.
Yes.
That's so stressful. That's so overwhelming. And then you have your significant other who's out there working. You want to be able to be a nice, build that
Of
unit.
course.
So what happened was I started to feel down. And it was too much. So I have a friend that lives out there, and she invited me.
Right.
So I said, okay, you know what? I spoke to my other half. And this is the thing about life, guys. Sometimes you're going to do things that will take away from the people you care about the most.
Yes.
But
Wow.
if they understand you and they understand that they want you to be well,
right,
they're going to understand what you need to do.
Yes. I love that.
So, yeah. So I spoke to my other half and I was like, this is where it's at. This is what I want to do. And this is how it can help. And if you want to come, then you can come. Yeah. So I was like, I'm just going to move to Edmonton.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, well, all right, let's work this out. Fine. And I had my party and I went. And when I got off the plane, I said, all right, Natalie, time.
Yep.
And what I did was my head. It's that mindset. Marcel,
yep.
My mindset shifted. This is a big thing. I'm from Toronto. I was born and raised. I left all of my family. Come on, I'm traveling with my baby.
Yep.
A small child. So I had to refocus.
Yep.
And when I refocused, I went and got a book. The book was You Can, You Will, and it was by Joel Osteen. So I took that, So I took that book and I said, all right, I heard about it before I left. So I said, I'm going to take this book and I'm going to use this as my tool. And when I took that book, that was the onset of the refocus journey. But then I also realized I have to get educated on certain things. I had the education from the schooling, but now I have to actually apply this education to getting into the career.
Yep.
So I looked at education, refocus, education, strategize. How am I going to do this? So I started to go to the employment centers out there, meeting people. And then from there, the conversation, I used the skill that I already had, which was hairdressing.
Yep.
And I went into the salon and I started talking to people. Right. And that was a part of my strategy. I'm going to go to the salon, even though I don't want to do hairdressing anymore. And my doctor told me I shouldn't because of my allergies. I'm
Yep.
going to go there because I know that's where people are. And that's where I'm going to have the conversations that I need to know how I'm going to navigate this
Exactly.
province.
Yes.
So then after I got led to a school. Once I got led to this school, it was on from there.
Right.
Because I was reading this book that talks about manifestation, your thoughts, your mind, your activities, and everything
Exactly.
else. And then from there, it was just like everything just kept flowing.
Right.
But at the same time, there was hardship on the side because remember, I left my significant other. My son's not reacting too well to this whole transition.
Exactly.
Right? So it was like all of this is happening. But in my strategy, I knew that I had to keep going. The execution was important because what I learned was in Ontario, the educational system, the social system, it's different.
Yes.
So I had to really work on, yes, I'm executing, but what's my strategy? Because now the daycare, you got to pay for this, that, this. And at the same time, you got to get your other half out here.
Right. Of course.
Don't leave him out there too long.
No.
Right? So execution and then transformation. Now, did I stay out in Edmonton long? No.
Right.
I was there for a year and a half. Did I work? Yes. I made a lot of money. I made a lot of change.
Right.
My resume was fat. My other half came out there. We were out there together. But then I was like, this is not my place.
Right.
Okay. I built up a resume that was so nice within a year and a half that I was so confident. This is belief system. When you have a mindset and you believe in yourself,
yes,
abilities, the people around you are encouraging you, you know what I mean? Then guess what? You're not going to hesitate to take a little chance on yourself.
It's true.
So I told him, I was like, okay, you go back to Toronto. I'm going to come back. Don't worry. He's like, you sure? Because I had a government job out there. I worked for the police. I worked for the school board. Like I was moving and shaking.
Yeah.
Right? The money's nice.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
He's like, you're gonna leave. You just came back you just left
right.
Toronto because of the hardship. Now you're going back.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I did. And when I came back, they got the unemployment. So I took that for a little bit, got my son settled in school, and then resume started going out.
Yep.
And I said, what I did let me tell you the onset. I took a look on the city of Toronto, the websites of the government websites
exactly.
to see what are the rates, what's the pay.
Right.
And then after I saw it makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I said, okay, this is a transforming part. I'm going back home, and what I do here, I'm going to do over there. And surely enough, everywhere that I worked in Edmonton, except for the police over here, I've landed
did it here
in Toronto. Wow. The only thing is my money mindset.
Yep.
So I had more money, but I wasn't necessarily navigating it in the right way.
Exactly.
So that's where the reset program came in. And I said, okay, when it comes to the finances, because I ended up meeting a financial advisor here, and he spoke to me about the importance of finances.
Exactly.
I said, you know what? My personal transformation journey is very similar to my financial transformation journey.
Yes.
Refocus, get educated, strategize, execute, and transform.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. That's what the reset program is.
Wow. That's phenomenal, because it seems like you went through your own experience. Like you had to leave the province to develop a new mindset. You went, you left, and then you developed this mindset, and you came back with a new mindset. Sometimes you got to leave your environment to really realize, maybe what you want for yourself or what you're doing. And then you could just think for yourself. You cleared your head and you knew what you wanted. So that's inspiring. That's inspiring me. And I hope that this story inspires other people, because you're living proof that it's all possible. Was it easy? No. But you had that mindset, and you were so determined, and you had a strategy, like you said. So it's all about strategy. And like you said, the education is key. And that's why I have this channel here today, because I want people to be educated. And there are people like yourself out there that are willing to educate people, and we talk about financial literacy. And financial literacy is something where I really hope, this podcast gets to the educational system and they can see that they may need someone like you going into the schools and teaching financial education and financial literacy to students, that might be an avenue where you could come in. And I hope that this podcast maybe touches the TDSB and they see that there's people like you out there that are passionate and can educate the community and children so they're set up for the future. So my next question to you is, how important is it for us to understand financial literacy?
It's extremely important, all right? Because I'm not saying that people that have money and they're well off do not have problems, but they have options.
Yep.
They have more experiences, right? They have, if they want, they can have more peace of mind.
Exactly.
About how you live, right?
Yep.
But when you have the resource of money, then it streamlines.
Yep.
There's also that transfer of wealth, that ability for your offspring to live a lifetime of that if they choose to move in the right direction, right?
Right. Yep.
When you have that literacy and understanding.
Exactly.
Limitations is very much where it is when you don't have the financial literacy, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of different concepts that can be applied to someone's life, but at the same time, you work where you are. So as a financial consultant, when I meet with clients, it's meeting you where you are.
Exactly.
But at the same time, as the coaching person, because that's my unique position, is that because I went through that hardship and that difficulty, I want to be that person that I didn't have.
Exactly.
Right? So when I put out my posts and I do things, I make sure that they understand that I'm very down to earth. And then at the same time, please realize that I am also very serious when I need to be.
Yep.
So I'm going to help you get what you need as long as you're willing to be accountable. But the thing is, with the financial literacy, it's important that you are understanding where you are with your money, what you want in life and your current goals, and then working towards the plan for the future.
Right. Yes, I really like that.
It creates healthy.
Yes, options. Yes, exactly. So once we're, kind of completed this podcast, we'll allow you to share your Instagram and all that stuff so people can get started with you today, because it's important, like you said, to really understand financial literacy. It's everything, like you go to work to make money, but what are you doing with the money that you make? So that's very important, and being aware of that and having someone like Nat holding you accountable and really guiding you to make the right choices. So right now, we kind of have this thing where people say, you know what, I'm going to pay off my debt before I invest. Some people say I'm going to invest while I'm paying my debt. So my question to you is it better to invest or pay off debt?
Okay, when I saw that question, I was like, that's a good question, because there's a lot of debate online.
Yes.
And this is the thing about the online talking, right? I did this worked for me. I did that worked for me.
Exactly.
You understand? Or you do this, you do that. The thing is, I'm not in your household to know.
Yep.
These people online aren't in your household to know. Your debt could be so high that you really should not be looking to invest anything. Because with investing, there's a certain level of risk that you're taking.
Exactly.
Obviously, depending on not obviously, because it's not obvious to most people.
Right.
People don't know that there are different levels of investing that you can, different options, right? Different risk levels that you can take. But still, depending on the amount of debt you have, maybe it's not your time to start investing.
Yes.
Maybe you need to tackle the debt that actually multiplies every few years, because of the rule of 72.
Right.
The rule of 72 is basically how long it will take for your money to multiply, your debt will take to multiply. Right. And that's a very, very hard to understand, that people will see it and think that this is a one model movement. It's not. It's always best that if you're in the position and you don't know what to do,
yes,
sit down and meet with an advisor.
Exactly.
And the thing is, I know a lot of people, we don't want to talk about it.
Nope.
We feel that we're going to get judged.
Exactly.
interview the person first, meet with the person, do a
Yep.
consultation. On my platform, I have a 15-minute open consultation where someone can meet with me just to have a discussion.
Right.
So that way that allows them to know, you know what? I kind of like her. I'm not interested.
Exactly.
Right? Let me move on. And they don't need to give me everything. They can be asking me the questions to understand their comfort level. The
Right.
reason why I do that is because I understand that people don't necessarily want to talk about money. And that's why they don't see advisors and they sit down on the internet and take on the information, apply a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't work for
Right.
them and end up
Yep.
in problems.
Exactly.
So when it comes to this particular question, I would say it is not a one size all situation.
Exactly.
It's best to have your review, your own
Yes.
financial review, and
Yes.
then make an action plan according to that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I really love that. It's not a one size fits all plan. It's not a cookie cutter program. The plan that Nat is going to provide is customized for your plan. Everybody has a different financial path. You know, listening to Instagram and different people speak, it may not help you. So sitting down with someone like Nat is gonna give you the ability to actually figure out, should I invest, should I pay off debt? So it's different for everyone. So I really like that answer.
Yeah.
You know, so thank you very much for that. I want to talk about budgeting, right? I want to get into this budgeting thing because we hear budgeting a lot of time. People say you should be budgeting your money, right? So I just want to ask you, what is budgeting and what is the importance of having a budgeting plan?
Right. Okay, so a budget is like it's your numbers, right? How much is coming in? How much is going out?
Right.
What is left over? What are you able to do with your money in the sense of having a long-term plan for retirement? Your goals, whatever big goals you have, right? Your experiences that you want in life. What is your money able to allow you to do?
Right.
How do you do that? You have to write it out. You have to see those numbers. When we get paid, they don't just give us our money.
No.
They give us an outline. A pay stub outlines what comes in,
Exactly.
taken,
Yep.
how much you got for this, how much, you understand?
Yes.
So that is basically that's for them. But when it comes to us as individuals, the budget is everything. And it may seem like, oh, gosh, it's very restrictive. It doesn't have to be restrictive.
Right.
It's how you lay out your budget. It's based on what you want in life.
Exactly.
So once again, it is very unique to every individual.
Yes.
I wasn't budgeting. That's why I ended up in debt.
Yeah.
That's why I ended up claiming bankruptcy.
Right.
Right? Not monitoring my finances, but just living. The money comes in. I have a lifestyle I need to live. Well, let's go.
Yeah.
Right. So what time? Where were we all going?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, no, if it was calculated,
Right.
then okay, I might have to move. You have certain things set up a certain way.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to stick to this.
Yep.
And this will allow me to do these things. Or,
Yeah.
you know what? This money's not looking like I can go anywhere.
Exactly.
I need to think about how I'm going to increase my cash flow.
Yep.
So for the next little while, I'm going to have to sit down and say no for a little bit. A budget will tell you what you need to do.
Wow. That's huge. That's huge. Because we're so awake or aware of, you know, what other people are doing, like what celebrities are doing, or we're so aware of what Netflix shows coming out, but we're not aware of the money in our bank account and where that money's going or how much we're getting or what's allotted to what in our life. So, you know, budgeting is so important. And I really strongly believe in that. And if you're unsure about budgeting and how you can create that plan for yourself, reach out to Nat, right? Like that's budgeting is everything and budgeting is important. So thank you for that, Nat. And I want to transition into, you know, talking about how money is very taboo. Like, you know, if we sit at the dinner table, you know, and we talk about money, it's always something that is always shut down, or it's something that we don't talk about at all, right? Like, you know, your families don't want to talk about it. It's not something we're going to talk about. Yeah, don't, right? So, you know, my question is, money is taboo in a lot of families. What are some things that you want our audience to know about money?
Hey, well, I've made a post yesterday. I took it down today because because yesterday was Sunday.
Yeah.
So I put up money is the root of all evil because
Right.
it's what I've heard.
Right.
You know, they always say from that standpoint, but I took it down today because I was hearing, oh, it's controversial. You don't want to do that kind of stuff. You know,
Right.
you're a financial advisor. So, but
Yeah.
taboo in the sense where we have to recognize that money conversations are important.
Yes.
Money has value.
Yes.
Money should be respected because when you do these things, you will be able to acquire more.
Exactly.
When you talk about it in a positive way, more money shall come.
Yeah.
When you work for it,
Right.
right? And you show gratitude for what you do, who you help.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Those are things that allow you to gain more money because then you get promotions.
Exactly.
That's if you want to work. If you have a business, right? You want more money coming to your business so your business can thrive.
Yes.
So when it comes down to it being taboo, it's just something that needs to be discussed and as much as there's a resistance,
Right.
sometimes still push.
Yep.
You don't have to overwhelm people. I think I do
Right.
a little bit at home with my son.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? I think I do with my son a little bit because he's my child. He's my one
Exactly.
child.
Yep.
So I'm like, and life is really hard right now. So
Yes.
the conversations have to be had and understood and applied,
Exactly.
and you have to embed it at an early age,
Right.
not be waiting,
Exactly.
right? But at the same time, yeah, we have to talk about it. We
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah. It's very important. That's right.
Yesterday, I saw a young man sleeping in a couch inside of one of the buildings. Like this young man had his pick on the floor. I don't know, and he had a little spray bottle. I was like, okay, maybe this is his defense mechanism in case
Right.
you scare him. But I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, wow, what his situation is. What's going on with his family? Because there are some families that live their own hardship that their
Of
children are
course.
like, I'd rather go live my own hardship. Remember, I left
Exactly.
her home
Yep.
early. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, when you have money in your life
Yes.
and in your accounts,
Yep.
then it creates opportunities. And sometimes it will take your child. If you see that your child is going one way, you know what? You can kind of make a switch
Right.
real quick and say, you know what? I'm going to take him from being free over here or her, and I'm going to put this child in this activity.
Right.
Or I'm going to take this child on this trip because I want them
Right.
to experience this piece of life.
Right.
And you're also showing your child
Exactly.
that I'm not doing this because I can do it. I have the means to do it. And that comes
Exactly.
through having.
Yep. I like that. I like that. So if we have any families kind of watching this, let's stop making this so taboo and start having these conversations. Like Nat was saying, she's having it with her son. And you know what? I don't think you're being overwhelming or doing too much. I just think you want to set him up for success. So he's set up for success and then his family set up for success. So I think you're doing a very positive thing. And maybe yesterday when you put that post out, what came to mind when I heard you say the root of all evil? Maybe it touched some people because it was a truth. It was a reality. It's not the root of all evil at all times, right? Money could be used as a great tool. It's very valuable. You could help people. You could travel. You can, buy property. There's so many positive things to money, right? So we got to start looking at the negative side and the negative connotation towards money and start looking towards the positive things that money can do. Money can be used for good, right?
Right on.
So,
that's thank you for even saying that, because and I just took it down because of, all of that. But at the same time, you see your words, what you just said.
Yeah.
And I don't have time. Captions are something else to write.
Of course.
Or writing back in comments and blah, blah. But the point is, you are exactly right. There's people who feel like they have that mindset, but they want to help so many people, but they can't help nobody because they can barely help themselves. But guess what?
Yeah.
It's not that you have to love the money. I love making money. Why not?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Because it allows me the opportunity to help. Not just help through my mouth. Now I can actually do things.
Exactly.
That's why Reset with Nat is working hard.
I love that. Reset with Nat. We're here on the show with Reset with Nat. It's been a good show so far. I'm having fun. I'm learning so much here from Nat, and we are grateful here on the show. So I hope that people that do view this show, they reach out to Nat, and I really hope that Nat gets more success because she deserves it. She's on this journey, and you could tell that she's transformed herself from where she was before to where she is now, and she's living proof that it's all possible.
Can I say something about that last point that you just said?
Yes, of course.
I'll tell you why as well.
Yes.
Mentorship is also important.
I love that. Mentorship. Yep.
I'm gonna speak to that because as much as I've gone through my reset process, in that I've been mentored.
Yep.
Right. And sometimes you may have a mentor that not necessarily you think that's the person you want to work with. And then you start working with them and you realize that their style and yours is not the same.
Right.
It's okay to find another one.
Yes, exactly.
Area and work with someone else. But I gotta send out my shout outs to my mentors. They know who they are.
Yep.
And it's very important to do that.
Exactly.
Align yourself. I also just did a lot of reading.
Yep.
And soaking in. So I just wanted to make sure I put that out there.
No, that's great because I believe in mentorship myself. There's people who have already gone through what you're going through. You know, there's people that have the success blueprint. So why are we always trying to reinvent the wheel when we can have a mentor who's going to guide us through, you know, to the places that we want to go? So I strongly believe in mentorship. So thank you for that, Nat. I want to talk about life insurance, right? Because obviously life insurance is something that we didn't learn about in school, you know, and then, you know, we hear a lot of posts on Instagram about life insurance. There's positives and there's negatives about it, obviously. But, you know, I just want to ask you, what is life insurance and who is life insurance for?
Okay. What is life insurance? So life insurance is an opportunity to protect your family. So for me, I am one of the breadwinners at home. If anything happens to me, my family is going to lose a certain amount of income that comes in every month. What a life insurance policy allows me to do is based on the amount of life insurance that I have, that gets left for them to be able to live the same lifestyle that they have, not be worried, bury me according to my wishes. You understand? And, you know, mourn me, but at the same time, not mourn me because, oh gosh, she left me here and I got this child and you understand? And my mom didn't leave anything for me. No, now I've left the ability for the family to sustain themselves financially. But in the same time, missing. There's also the portion of life insurance that has a critical illness component. So if there's any terminal illnesses, right? If you've been diagnosed, then it gives the opportunity for you to get a lump sum of money paid out to you in one shot. So that way it helps towards you recovering. You're not able to work. So now you have that money that's there to have your medications paid for. Not all medications are paid for through OHIP, right? So you have that money for that. You have the money so you don't necessarily have to get up and leave your home, right? You know, there's a whole bunch of other expenses that comes with an illness. So that's another portion of life insurance that gets added, and that's a living benefit. There is also permanent insurance that also has a whole life, and then there's universal life. So these policies have the benefits of the transfer of wealth, right? So that your family can sustain themselves and also have more money to be able to do things if it's done right. That's why it's important to have a will as well. Let them know what they need to do. But the permanent insurance also has a living benefit where there are investments involved within that policy. So one, it could be a dividend in the whole life policy. You get a dividend paid out. Right. And then there is the universal life where it's more or less playing
Right.
putting in, and it's just like you're investing.
Right.
So it all depends on where you are
Right.
and how much you want to invest and how much you put in. There's growth, or there's also that struggle that you may lose if you're not putting enough into your policy. There's three different types, but it's coverage that can protect you. And the thing is, it does not have to be after death.
Right.
There's living benefits in life insurance.
Wow.
So, and then there's term. It's just for a time being. So short term and long term insurance. Right. But at the same time, the term ends at some point. Life insurance is very important in the sense where it is better to get it when you're younger because the costs are a lot less.
Right.
Because you're usually more healthy when you're young. There are people that get illnesses when they're young, yes, and it will be restrictive to the types of coverage you can get, but it's the ability to be able to protect yourself and your family, dead or alive.
Yes.
And dead, I'm sorry, I'm saying, no, let's talk about it, because at the end of the day, people are like,
yeah. That's a
we're
reality
not
of life.
Die from the conversation of talking about death.
Exactly.
Right? The reality is these things are happening.
Yes.
And when you're not planned, is when it's not prepared for, when the family is already struggling, they don't have no budget, they're not able to sustain themselves. Guess what, Marcel? That's where the GoFundMe comes in.
Exactly, because there's no money.
That's where, right? Or we have to reach out to the government for some assistance. And guess what happens? That's not easy. That in itself is another stress for them.
Exactly.
So it's better to have the conversation, have the knowledge,
right.
Know your options,
right.
And then, you know what? You can have peace of mind.
Right. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's something that's very important. And maybe the reason why we've been neglecting it for so long is because we don't have the education on it. We don't have the knowledge on it. So, when we don't have that knowledge or education, we just neglect it. So like Nat said earlier, she has a 15-minute consultation. Maybe that's something that you need to, sign up for, to see if life insurance is something that could benefit you and benefit your family if you're looking to transfer that wealth, so it's very important. Thank you for that, Nat. So, we're not done the show, but we are getting to, the end of the show here and the last few questions here. But I just want to say this has been, very fun, but it's also been very educational, right? And I hope people that watch this, they're taking notes, and then applying. The key is applying. You can listen to all these podcasts, you could read all these books, but my thing is make sure you're applying what you're learning. Okay. If you hear something here today that you're not doing, make sure you start doing and applying it into your life. If you're been thinking about financial coaching, but you haven't done it, today's the day to start doing that. Reach out to Nat and she can get you on that right path. Okay. So thank you, Nat. I'd like to ask this question because this is Mindset TV, and mindset is everything to me. And that's why I started this. Having the right mindset towards everything in life is key. Whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to get on that right financial journey, whether you want to start a business, you need the right mindset. It just comes back to your whole mindset, right? So my question to you is, what does mindset mean to you? And how can someone have the right mindset on their financial journey?
Right. Mindset is heavy.
Yep.
And it's very, you have a very unique position because this is what we all need. As you're saying that to me, I'm thinking about the different things that I go back and forth in my head about.
Of course.
Right? Mindset is very important because one, mental health is very, very, very hard.
Yep.
A very hard thing to deal with as an individual of self.
Yes.
I don't have it. I'm just saying a person who has a mental health issue.
Yep.
And then also for the person who surrounds them or lives with them, or you know what I mean? Or associates with them. And a part of mental health is the mindset. And when we don't have the right mindset, it just causes a lot of confusion.
Exactly.
And mindset is not necessarily, I think what it is we have to understand why what we want is important. Why is it important for you?
Yes.
Not based on what you see, but why is it important for you? Everything in life should lead back to you. I'm sorry. Yes, we think about other people, but you got to think about yourself first, because if you think
Exactly.
about yourself first, you can help more people,
Exactly.
right? So why is whatever it is that you're working on, having the right mindset, important in that process? You want to start a business? Why do you want to start the business?
Yep.
What's the benefit of this business? How does it help you? How does it help the people that you're going to help?
Exactly.
Is this business something you can see yourself doing long term?
Yep.
Okay, so now you have to do all of these things to set up this business.
Exactly.
Your mindset has to shift
Yep.
entirely. That's a
Yep.
lot of mindset.
Yep.
Money. Oh boy. Okay, so I had a bankruptcy. I had an additional set of debt. I don't want this. I don't want this anymore. I don't want this to be a part of my legacy. I need to get my mindset right around money.
Exactly.
I'm going to start reading things. I'm going to start associating myself in ways that allow the growth of my mindset to allow me to project
Yep.
what I want. That is a part of affirming, and it's a part of manifestation.
Exactly.
I also believe in faith and activity. You have to, like you said, you have to do things.
Right.
What affirms your mindset is also acting out what you're learning.
Yep.
Me coming and onto this podcast, I was like, great, the beginning of the year. I know what my yearly plan is. Let me start the year fresh.
Yep.
This is great opportunity. Thank you, Marcel. This is going to boost my confidence in my mindset to build my business. And also, as my business grows, my money will grow. My experiences will grow. My opportunities to help will grow.
Right.
Mindset is everything. And it's a very, it's a hole.
Yep.
That you just got to keep digging.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to dig or you want to climb. Either way, but it's a process that is everlasting.
Yep.
But choosing the positive route
to
the mindset is very important.
Yep. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
That's key. And I really hope you guys, take the time to re-listen to what Nat just said and how her mindset, if she didn't have such a strong mindset, I don't think she'd be able to explain mindset in that way. So Nat clearly has a very strong mindset, and it's something that Nat had to work on. You don't just wake up with a strong mindset. It's something that you have to continuously work on. You have to have that growth mindset. You have to see the silver lining in these negative situations. You have to keep growing. You have to keep working on yourself. You have to surround yourself with like-minded people, positive people, people like Nat, who are growing and wanting to see you grow as well too. So mindset is everything, so really focus on your mindset when you're doing anything in this life. All right.
Oh, and have patience.
Patience is key.
With the mindset.
Have patience with the mindset. Yep.
Or else you're going to shift your mindset. It's going to drive you crazy all the time.
Exactly.
Recognize that all of this stuff takes any kind of change, any time of growth, requires patience.
Exactly.
In that process.
Yep. I like how you say that because it takes a lot of patience. And sometimes, even if you're starting a business or you're doing something new, you're not going to see anything in the beginning. Like it may take years before something actually happens. And I've been reading a lot of autobiographies lately of a lot of hip hop artists. And I've noticed one thing about them, a lot of them for years, and they could have gone a decade without no one recognizing them, no one, going to their shows, no one supporting them no one believing in them, but they had belief in themselves and they had the right mindset, and eventually they stuck with it. It happened for them. And now some of the biggest stars, Rick Ross, Kendrick Lamar, Russ, are those guys who went through it, had the right mindset, believed in themselves, and now they're the world leaders, some of them, right? And they're doing well in that industry. So it takes time, patience. I like how you said patience. That's key. Patience is key. All right. So, we're going to have a few parents that watch this episode and that have kids. So my next question to you is, how can parents set up their child on the right financial path.
Right. So this one is, I've been getting this question from parents, right?
Yep.
A lot now, and it's really good because what people are recognizing is the life that I lived. I don't want my child to go through that.
No.
What can I do
Yep.
to set my child up? So
Exactly.
you know what? First off is just basic. You have this child, you get some money from the government, take some of that money.
Yep.
Sure that you're putting some aside for your child.
Exactly.
Short term, the parties. Yes, everybody, you look at the parties and the clothing and the living right now.
Yeah.
But what about the education?
Yep.
What about the activities? What about the fact that they're going to get married? Wouldn't you love to be that parent that says, here, I'm going to take some of this hardship off of you and
Yep.
get married, or even if you don't get married, whatever the case is, I have something to help you. You've reached this point in life where I'm going to gift you something.
Exactly.
Right? So that's one, as the parent themselves doing for their child.
Yep.
With these extra resources that we get. Doesn't even have to be a lot. Sometimes parents may think that it's a lot of money that you have to put. You can start as little as $25 a month and let that build.
Exactly.
Right? There's different means. There's also life insurance. Like I said, with the life insurance, you get your child a small permanent policy, a whole life policy at a young age, very affordable. That is setting them up to build wealth because you can't invest with children's names. But with that policy, yes, you can. Whole life policies have the dividends in them. You can be paying into that. They have their coverage for their life insurance, but then they also have that growth that's coming up to help them. All right. You have the RESP, the Registered Education Savings Plan. Put money into these things. The government also contributes based on how much you put in.
Right.
Now, then that's you're doing when the children are young. We take them to the stores. Like I'm going to talk about Natalie and what Natalie used to do. Very bad habits.
Yep.
Very bad habits. Take my son, we're eating McDonald's today because it's convenient coming from college and driving all this, and they want you to stay quiet in the back. Here's another one. The kid got so used to the place, he'd be like, oh, is she trying to pass it? Where are you going? Bad habit.
Yeah.
Bad habit, right? He's learning a behavior that's not good. And meanwhile, I'm just appeasing what I want to appease now.
Yep.
Because I'm just like, oh yeah, this is convenient. But what I was doing was also not teaching him that, because he doesn't know I'm paying for it. He's young, 5, 6. He's just seeing the transaction and he's getting the food.
Right.
So learning these negative habits, we need to be mindful of our habits, our spending habits and our behaviors because they are watching us.
Right.
And they will likely, it's learned behavior, duplicate what we do and sometimes do it better than us. We're not careful.
It's true.
Right? So be mindful of our habits as parents.
Wow.
Then once they start to get to the age of you giving them money, right? I give my son money. He goes and he's got his $10 for lunch. My guy's like, listen, Mom, you know what I got to do? Now he's telling me how he's going to save more on his lunch because he recognized one store sells this for this and he's full and he's good and he has more money left over. So I'm like, oh, I like that. You have to come back to me. Good. Thank you. Not going and blowing it anymore because of the conversation that we start to have. Exactly. He's getting older. So now I have to let him know, listen here, when I go to work, I get paid per hour. Exactly. This is 1 hour I'm giving you. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Or part of an hour. You know what I mean? This is how this works. Yep. And he's like, oh, I'm like, right. Yep. So this is what you're getting. What are you going to do to keep that? Exactly. Yeah. Then there's also the next layer where the children start to work. When your kids start to work, it is important that you actually, before they start to work, before they get the job, you talk to them about their paycheck and what's happening. Exactly. Because they feel, like I did myself, that the money is mine. I went out there for it, so I could just I could get all the things that I want.
Right.
But if you give them the opportunity to learn about budgeting at a young age off of the income that they have from their small jobs, that is such an instrumental move to their long-term
Exactly.
life, right? You're setting them up for success. This is how we're going to break up your budget. These are your responsibilities, and this is how much I want you to save.
Mm-hmm.
Start having those conversations with them at the age and stage that they are.
Yes.
While leaving flexibility to still live. I myself, I can say, because I know, this is a thing about finances. It's important to have money, because if you don't have it, you can't do certain things with yourself.
No. Yep.
So once you get there, then, make sure you start speaking and letting them know. So that way they will also recognize that when it comes to them having their family, they'll do better as well.
Yes. Yep. I like that message. I like that message. I really, really respect that. And it's important, parents who are out there listening to this show today, to start having those conversations with your child. You don't just give them the money, talk to them about it. Don't just go to the store and purchase things for them. Tell them, this costs $80. This is 2 hours of mom's or dad's pay, right? So they're understanding those things, right? And they're thinking about money prior to buying something. Like you said, your son's now thinking about it. Oh, if I go to this store, I can save more money, instead of just spending the money. So thinking about that and having that, you gave him that awareness about money. And I think that's key from a young age, because you develop habits. And sometimes habits aren't easy to break, especially if you've been doing them from when you were 10 years old. Now you're 25. Now you want to break these habits. It's going to be hard, because it's something that's withdrawal. Yeah. You're conditioned a certain way, right? So let's make sure we're conditioning our kids and our family members in a certain way, because it's all conditioning into our programming, So let's make sure we're doing it the right way and educating our children. So thank you.
I have one more.
Yeah, add, please.
So there's a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Kiyosaki. I love that book.
Yeah. Yes. So my son is 12, and I had him start reading the book. I mean, it's a young man, it's written from the young man's perspective, right?
Yep.
And then he built into what we need to know. So I just said, you know what, let me give this child a book.
Exactly.
Now, I'm going to give you a tip, parents, because I went, like I said, I'm a little hardcore.
Yep.
I was like, here's a book. This is how it's going to help you, because this way, my thing is, I don't know when I'm going to expire.
No.
My time is up.
We don't know.
So as much as I can give, I'm going to give. Whatever you can retain, move with that.
Exactly.
And then you build upon it, right? So I gave my son that book, and I think that it's important that, parents find a financial literacy book that can help your child learn without sometimes us having to do too much talking.
Yep.
But it all depends on your child, because when I did that, at first he was like, okay. And then he was like, I don't like this. But because I know it's important.
Right.
What I do now is I set aside time to read it with him.
Yes. Smart.
Yeah. I set aside the time to read it with him. I didn't stop.
No.
I made him first of all, he had to read a certain amount of pages by himself. That's how it was. That was the setup. And then come and tell me.
Right.
But then what had happened was, I was like, you're telling me the same thing you told me yesterday. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And he kept, and every time he comes to get the book, he's whining. So I'm like, Natalie, you can't do this. If you need him to understand, then you sit down with him. And then he likes how I read. I put in the expressions and all of them things. So that way, at the end of the day, I'm still getting the information, getting him to absorb the information.
Exactly. Yep.
And then go from there. So that's another tidbit.
Wow. That's huge, because I believe that you are what you read, you are what you listen to, you are the people that you surround yourself with. So if, even if he doesn't consciously, really understand this book, subconsciously, this is being programmed into him, right? Subconsciously. And then, when he turns 16, 17, it's just something he's going to do because it's been programmed into him. So, props to you for doing that. And I think a lot more parents need to do that. And you're actually taking the time out of your life to read that to him. So you're breaking it down for him, because he might not be in that mindset yet, but when he turns 19, 20, he's going to be in that mindset because he's going to be making money. You know, he's going to have to pay for this, going to have to pay for that. But right now he doesn't have much obligation. So maybe he's not in that mindset now, but when he does get to that place where he has to be in that mindset, at least he'll be somewhat prepared and he'll have an understanding. So props to you for doing that.
Yeah.
So, you know, my last question here on the show, and then we'll, you know, have you let our viewers know about how they can reach out to you, is if you had an opportunity to speak to a group of high school students, what would be 3 things that you would tell them to equip them on their financial journey?
High school students, that's a different party, boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yes. I would go with, okay, so let's talk about who you are and what you want in life.
Yep.
Right? This is the mindset part. Take time for yourself, always, to know who you are, what you want in life, and are the things that you're doing getting you there?
Yep.
Are the people that you're hanging around getting you there?
Huge.
I'm not going to tell you that your friend's not good. That's not for me to tell you. Maybe your friend is good, but at the same time, maybe your friend's not the person that you need to be around the most.
Yep.
So know where you want to go in life and know what you need to do to get there. So that means time with self. Always take that time.
Yep.
And that will then transfer into knowing what you need to get there. So that's also the education portion. What classes do you need to take? How high do my marks need to be in these classes? And then at the same time, there's also costs to things.
Yep.
If you know you want to be this person who's up, who wants to have the most experiences and this and that, what career or what business idea do you have?
Exactly.
How much is it going to take for you to live that life?
Right.
And if it's going to take that much, you need to know that you have to understand money and how it works. So when your parents give you money, be responsible. Think before you act.
Exactly.
Always remember the things that you want now and also what you want later. Because the term YOLO is so annoying. And it leaves a lot of young people and adults in the position of feeling like, I'm just going to do for today and we'll figure out tomorrow. Right? That's not good.
No.
So recognize that you work for today and you plan for tomorrow. So when you get money, don't sit there and look at it as, I just have this now and I'm going to just get rid of it. I'm going to just use it because I can. Think about all the things you thought about. And even if it's a little contribution, you put that away. And please stick with it because I've done it and stick with it. And those things, and because I wanted to go and live what this person was doing and forgot about what I wanted to do over here, I took from what I was needing. But I like this in the moment thing. Right? So always remember those things. And then also, it's not to knock parents, but realistically, and I mean, even for myself, I tell my child, hey, if this is not the life that you want and what you're living is not what you want for yourself, I want you to look at it and recognize what do you see for your future?
Exactly.
Right? So what mistakes or things do you think mom or dad could have done better? And position yourself to get that. And it all will tie back down to monetary. Because you have to have the incomes come in to be able to have more experiences. But if you're okay with what it is that how you're living and what your experiences are, then you know what? Start asking your parents questions. Don't hesitate to ask. And if your parents won't help you, then find somebody that will. I believe you would have an aunt, uncle, someone, or someone like me online.
Exactly.
Reach out. Right? But don't be afraid to ask questions, even at a young age.
Thank you. That was such great advice. you know, that our high school students that do view this could benefit from. You know, let's set yourself up for success. Don't think, like Nat said, in the short term, but let's think about the long term. All right. So thank you very much, Nat, for coming on the show. Reset with Nat. You know, this has been so phenomenal. Yeah, no problem. So educational. I've learned so much. I got a bunch of notes here. I'm going to go back and watch this for myself and see where I can make changes in my life. You know, so people like Nat are people that are transforming the world and transforming other people. But prior to doing that, Nat had to transform herself. You know, and that's what you have to be willing to go through sometimes, a transformation. All right. Don't be afraid. One day at a time, one step at a time, but you're going to get there. All right. So for our audience who need to reach out to you or who want to reach out to you, how can they, Nat?
Well, you can always visit me on social media. I am on Instagram and it is at resetwithnat. And then I am also on, just stick to Instagram for now.
Instagram, okay.
And then Instagram, and then I have a website. It's www.resetwithnat.com.
Okay.
You can book an appointment through my website. You can also access my budgeting workbook. So I have a budgeting workbook. It is a digital workbook.
Wow.
Right. So you can download that and use it. And then you have access to blog posts on there. I will be also adding more, or sign up for the newsletter. Right.
Okay.
And then other than that, I mean, my contact is email resetwithnat@gmail.com.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah,
and what I'll do, thank you very much. And what I'll do is I'll put that under the video when this does go out. I'll have that underneath so people can get a hold of you immediately. So we have Reset with Nat. Thanks again for coming on the show.
I enjoyed this. I feel like I want to come back.
We're going to have you back on the show again another time for sure. No question. Because
I really enjoyed speaking with you.
Phenomenal.
Great questions. Great energy.
Thank you, Natalie.
And I love Marcel Mindset TV. I will be definitely sharing it with more people because
thank you.
You know, mindset is everything, and we need it. We need it even more right now. And it's not like you focus on the mindset in general.
Yep.
Right. So that means you are meeting with people in different areas. You care about people's well-being.
Exactly.
Right. So with that said, you are appreciated. I'm glad that you came up with this podcast. And you know, I might have to interview you because I want to know a lot more about Marcel.
Absolutely. I'd love to come on too. Let me know. I'd love to. Thank you very much, Nat. All right. Thank you. For our audience out there, please subscribe to the channel. Click that like button below. And like I said before, if you find any type of value from this episode, share it with someone. Thank you again, everyone. And thank you again, Reset with Nat. I wish you nothing but the best. Yeah.
Thank you so much. 2023, we're up, Marcel.
We're up. All right. Thank you. All the best. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.